Всем привет, с вами Хвастович Александр, и сегодня со мной Филочка, мы запишем интервью. Мои читатели, зрители блога «Америка для успешных» часто спрашивают у меня: расскажите немножко о черных, какие черные в Америке, задают кучу разных вопросов, поэтому я позвал эксперта по черным. Значит, Филочка, дальше мы будем говорить по-английски, но я буду делать субтитры по ходу. So, Филочка, as I just said, that a lot of people that read us and watch our videos, and they just they ask me about black people in America, and so I called an expert. Basically, I called you to answer some of those questions.
Black expert.
So, I'll be honest. I'll be just what they ask me, I'm gonna ask you, and hopefully, we could give them the best answer out there. The first one is: does black guys like Russian girls?
Well, most black guys like white girls in general, especially if they have a nice ass.
All right.
We like the long hair, we like their blue-green eyes, but the girls who get the most attention are definitely the ones with big butts. It's not that many, but the ones with big butts get the most attention.
How about black girls? Do they like Russian guys?
They probably would like to hang around Russian guys. They probably like a lot of Russian guys being cute or whatever. But generally, black girls don't fancy having sex with white men so much. Okay. They like, I guess, black men sexually more, but they like white men more here, black men more there.
You mean like white, like romance and how they treat women, stuff like that?
Yeah, they probably like the romance and stuff, but when it comes to just sex, they're very loyal to black men usually.
All right. Do black guys like white rap music and white rappers in general?
There's not that many. Sure. There's just Eminem really, and Paul Wall, and I don't know who else is there to really mention. I mean, sure, if they're good, they're good. I mean, race doesn't matter if that's really what the question means. If there's a good rapper who's white, it's okay. As long as he doesn't say nigga, he's fine.
All right, another guy asked me, if I want to hang out with black people, but I'm white, how do I approach black people in ghettos so they don't kick my ass?
First of all, you don't approach black people in ghettos. That's what you don't do, unless you already know them. But if he wants to make black friends, I would say the best way he can do it is starting off with the safety of his computer. You can go on Facebook, you can look up who lives in Brooklyn, who lives in Queens, whatever, and you can just try to add some friends and try to converse with them. And then like, hey, I'm coming to New York in a month or 2 months, and you eventually develop a friendship there, because if they speak to you for like a month or two, they probably do want to hang out with you when you get there. So use your computer safely.
Right. Build that trust.
Yes.
How about weed? Does every black person smokes weed?
You know what I notice? Everybody smokes weed. It's nowhere near a black person thing at all. The people who I've seen smoke weed the most in my life was when I was in Austria, next to Germany, and that's all they did. And they were all Austrian, and that's all they did. But yeah, black people smoke weed, but every racial group out here smokes weed like evenly throughout the race. Like if half black people smoke weed, half the white people smoke weed. So it's like even with the weed. It's just common.
So we can say it's like just an American thing.
Hell no, it's not just an American thing.
I mean,
in Germany and Austria, they were smoking weed like crazy, but especially Austria.
Right, but in Russia, they think weed is like a heroin. So, yeah.
I don't smoke weed, but let me go on record saying this. Weed isn't anywhere near as bad for you as cigarettes.
Right.
I'd rather my girlfriend smoke weed than cigarettes, because that shit'll kill you and sit in your pots.
All right. Another guy asked me, there's a lot of movies about gangs and rappers and shooting and violence, but he really wants to know, are there any famous black scientists or doctors?
I'm sure there's a good number, but one thing you need to know about history, especially I'd say before the 1960s, a lot of famous black people, because we were living during the era where in America we didn't have as many rights as other people did for hundreds of years. A lot of famous people who were black and invented stuff, it was taken away, and other people took credit for it because we didn't have any power, we didn't have any equality. So they may have been a whole lot more than just inventing peanut butter or the seatbelt or the traffic light. There's a lot of other things that we could have invented, but there's no evidence, and it was just taken away. Like, my last name is Jones. That's not even my real last name. That was taken away. So I would say you can study as much as you can. There's even rumors that the first president ever was actually black, and you can search that. I don't know if it's true, but there's a lot of literature on it. So
Wow.
all the things are very spotty.
Wow. Is it true that black people have a better sense of music and more talented in music, and why?
Black people are the most entertaining people on the planet. I can say that. We're the most entertaining. We're the most copied. Like, we do something, it becomes white like 10 years later. Like, black people come out with bling bling. Lil Wayne, like 10 years ago when he was 14, saying bling bling. Like 10 years later now, white people are selling things called bling bling. Like businesses. This is really just an example. I mean, in America, we're probably 12% of the population, but we're the most emulated. People want to dress like us, act like us. And I guess once the black people leave America sometime, they'll see how much the white girls really, really like us generally. But we're very emulated and copied all the time.
All right. Well, some girls, actually quite a lot of girls, ask me this question: is that true that black guys usually have the bigger thing down there?
Well, from my experiences in the past, like 2 years ago and back, let me say that. From what I hear is yes. But at the same time, I have to be logical. Like, these are girls I was dating and having sex with. So, of course, they're going to tell me I have a big. But so how I figured out it's true was that I watch adult films. And when I watch adult films, like homemade adult films,
right,
it's true.
All right. So there is no more mystery about that. So everybody should know.
It's true. I mean, not every single black person has a big penis.
Right.
On average, like, you have to take average. Like, maybe 8 out of every 10 black people have big penises, and maybe 3 out of 10 of every white person. So it's
right.
like numbers.
Right. Dun, 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 dun. Well, I think that's most of the questions that I had.
There's a lot of fan questions.
All right, go ahead. Shout it out.
Oh, you me? Oh, okay. Let's see, which one did I want? Somebody asked. They want to know, why do we speak so loudly? Really? I'm guessing this person has been to America and was on the train. I really don't know the answer to that one. Are you capable of reading the questions from my wall?
Yeah, I'll do that right now. But it is actually true, and I think when black people talk, because a lot of, especially black male, have a lower tone of voice, and when they speak, and especially when they argue about something.
Oh yeah, that's different.
That would be pretty loud.
The louder you get, the more you think you're winning.
Exactly. That is so true.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a question right here. Could a Russian immigrant live a normal life in black neighborhood?
That's very interesting, and I have a really good answer for that one, but I forgot the name of the area.
Brighton Beach? Around that area?
Not Brighton Beach. Brighton Beach is very segregated. The black people are on one side and the Russians are on the other side. But this is a neighborhood, I remember, that's only black and Russian. And they're all together. And my grandmother lives there, and I discovered it 4 years ago when I was with my ex-girlfriend. And she's Ukrainian, and I'm black. And when we got there, it was just crazy because it was like, you see all the kids, they're either only black or just only Russian or Ukrainian. But they were all playing together. And you have the black parents sitting on this side and the Russian parents sitting on this side. But everyone generally got along, and I just wanted to live there. It was amazing. But yes, they can, because they're foreigners, and even though you're white, when people hear you have an accent, they will understand that you have to live with us because you have to live in the cheapest area you can find.
Right. Is that true that there is still racism in America towards black people?
There's racism towards everybody. in America. Not as bad as in Russia.
Not as bad as in Russia.
Not as bad as in Russia, no. But there's still racism everywhere.
Why black people are always showing off? Like they have to.
You mean like the rappers?
Not the rappers. He says just black people in general are showing off. Like they have the word, but they can't stand up to that. I don't know what exactly.
I only know about rappers. Rappers show off because unfortunately they show off their money and stuff all the time because that's what people like to hear. They like to hear about how much more money people have than them. I don't know. But, it's just because that's how they are. I don't know. Like, our culture is kind of childish. Like, the most famous rappers and stuff we have, they live by money, sex, women, and really we own nothing.
Right.
You know, like, they own nothing, really.
Right.
But, like, Jay-Z and the Russian guy who owned the Nets.
Right.
You heard about that?
Right.
The Brooklyn Nets?
Yep.
What's the name of the Russian guy?
I think his name is... the oligarch, the famous guy. I forgot the name of this.
He's very rich.
But he has like a big building in New York and an apartment over there. I know who you're talking about. I forgot his name.
Well, he owns like 99% of the Nets, and Jay-Z just owns like 1%.
Wow.
That's just an example. We show off the most, but we own the least.
Right. Okay. I live in the U.S. right now, and in the city where I live, black people sometimes walk on drive-through. Making the drivers stop. Why are they doing that?
They walk in a drive-through. You know what's funny? I've done that before. But the only time I've done that was when they close the regular door,
right.
But only the drive-through is still open.
Right.
So if the regular door is closed and I want to eat, I'm walking through the drive-through.
Right.
But if it's still open, I won't walk through the drive-thru, and I don't know why they did that.
All right, another tendency that actually we were studying in our social class, and it's my question. They estimated that black couples usually don't stick together as much. So there's a lot of single black moms, but there's no male figure on, and I want to know why is that?
Oh, man. I'm going to give you a personal reference after this. But from my point of view, I can tell you the basics because I don't want to get too deep into it. But the reason basically is that black women choose the wrong black man. So they basically choose the wrong black guy and they have a baby, he leaves. And it's really just having children too fast. Like, it's very common that black women in America have more than one child by more than one parent. And like, I'm not talking about a few people. I mean, the majority of women do that. So like when I go to Russia or something, I have to find women who have, I have to look for women who have like more than one kid by more than one guy. But here you don't have to look for it. You have to look for the opposite.
Right.
Because what's dominant here, they have babies too fast. They, I don't know, I guess they trust too fast, and that's not cool. Like, the average age, I guess, black women have babies is maybe 18, and they're not even married.
But it wasn't like that in the 60s and 70s. They had, like, more of kind of white values in the family. So I thought, could it be because of the rap culture and how the rap culture and hip-hop represents the relationship?
No, rap didn't get really stupid and violent till, like, the late 80s or 90s. It's a lot of the government. I'm not blaming the government. Like, just letting you know that now. It deals with a lot of welfare and, you know, government aid. So, for example, if you are a single mother with children, the more children you have, the more money the government gives you. But you don't get the money if the man is still in the house.
Oh.
Then you get money. So if the man upsets the woman, she's just going to say, "Get the hell out! I don't need you anyway." She's going to kick him out the house, and then she'll just get money from the government. And that happens a whole lot.
Right. Okay. So, Filishka, if our viewers will like it and post comments underneath and maybe post more questions, do you think we could be answering some of them in the next video?
Sure. I'm just very interested in, like, people's questions that they think will offend, but I need to hear them. I want to hear the real questions. I don't want any questions that I don't want to hurt his feelings. No, I want to actually hear them.
So if someone wants to say the N word, they could say it.
They could say whatever they want on the computer, but like I told anybody, I said, don't go outside and do that. I said, you can say whatever you want on the internet, but I mean, don't be afraid to ask me like something like, why do so many black people commit crimes? Like, don't be afraid to ask me questions that you think will offend me, because it won't.
All right. And maybe a little something for all our viewers out there. Filichka was recently in Russia, and I know you did some comments on your blog, but could you say, like, what is your main core impression of Russia? What did you like, what you didn't like?
Russia has the most unhappy people I've ever seen.
Unhappy?
Very unhappy. In Moscow. Very unhappy. No one smiles. God damn. Only people who smile with the girls I'd, like, mess with. Like, when I see them, I'm like, hey, what's up?
Because they want them to, you know, to look good in front of you.
I guess they do look good in front of me. But on the good side of it, of Russia, it looks nice. Like, I went to the Red Square and took pictures in front of a lot of the buildings, and it's so crowded in the train station. Like, that shit gives me a headache. So many people. People stare at me all the time, especially those Caucasian guys. I don't know what their problem is staring at me, because, like,
you mean like guys from Chechnya and the area down there?
Yes, they have, like, little lighter than me and straight black hair, and they wear black leather jackets, and they stare at me, and I'm like, aren't we both black in Russia? Why are you staring at me, asshole? I just don't know what their problem was. I didn't understand it, but it was good. I'm going back most likely, and hopefully I get some work in Ukraine as well, so I could go to Kiev and see a lot of people who want to see me there, and yeah, should be back there soon.
All right, man. All the best, and thank you for watching us. I think we'll do some more videos, and Filichka, I'm your personal fan. Thank you very much for what you're doing.
No problem, man.
All right, guys. Peace.
Later.